Howdy, guys. I've got my phone connected to these headphones right now. I'm going to go ahead and let Seth enter in to this whole thing, and we'll see. Hey, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hello. You can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
That's what matters the most. So, yeah, just real quick, before we get started here, I want to give you guys a couple of updates as people are joining in and stuff like that. Um, Tomorrow, I'm actually heading down to North Georgia, and I'm finally going to be fixing the rear locker issue in the Jeep so that I can, do all the planned trails for 2024. That's been kind of a thing, but parts were kind of hard to get to or get. And then finding shop time at Black Bear Off Road is becoming very, very difficult as of late because it's tax season and a lot of people have money now. So they're like, hey, what's up? Let's go spend our money and do some things. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be working in the shop with Brad on my vehicle, getting all that stuff taken care of. And yeah, I see fully mission capable. And Mr. Travis is in here already, like just what's the word for it? Heckling. So I expect a lot of that this evening in the chat. So Seth, do me a favor and help me keep an eye on that.
Oh, we'll
Uh,
keep an eye on it. The thing that Travis is not prepared for is all the flannel that I have. So unless
oh
his
yeah,
game, unless the flannel game is strong, Travis needs to kind of keep it down a little.
you do. However, like I'm gonna assume, like, what kind of vehicle do you drive, by the way?
Oh, I'm a massive I'm a taco guy.
Okay, why is your top button undone?
Oh, because my ascot doesn't fit very well. I had to take it off so it dries.
Got it, got it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because Travis has been really, really good sport about the top button fixing before he talks about tacos. That's for
No, no,
sure.
I'm with you. So the thing is, we have to bring him along. So the fact that he owns flannel, we've invited him in. Whether he
Okay.
stays or not, is yet to be seen. We'll get
Oh,
there.
okay. All right. You have flannel, you got the vest, you got everything going on Toyota right now.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I am the stereotype.
Hey, whatever. Stereotypes aside, if you're stacking rocks, you're a Toyota guy. It's all
That's
good.
right. Absolutely.
uh, I do want to let the guys know that so tomorrow I'm fixing things. Saturday it is a free day just in case things don't go as planned. Sunday I'm going to be wheeling with Fincher Explore Discover, doing some local trails, some exploring. He's got kind of a new rig, and we're going to go do a shakedown run on some couple of local trails around here that are pretty well known, and then I'm gonna take him and find some like an abandoned mine and do some other stuff because he's a couple hours away from me. And then after that, the next really big thing is coming up really soon, and that's going to be for the Southern Four Wheel Drive Association. I'm going to be leading some trails at Trail Fest this year. So if you don't know about what they have going on, we are going to Colmont OHV Park this year for Trail Fest, and it's a relatively new park, and the trails are pretty. I mean, they're known, but they're not known to the masses like One Rock Park, and stuff like that is. So we're gonna go out and do some exploring, and have some fun, and people of all levels, all vehicles are invited to attend that. So make sure you head over to Southern Four Wheel Drive Association's website, sfwda.org, doing a lot of really great work across the Southeast. And I'm really excited to be a part of that. I know Jeep and Rounds, my buddy Zach, is going to be leading some trails as well, and camping out for a couple of days and having a great old time. So, having said, dropping names, Travis, man, you gotta slow down. I'm old, okay? Like, I'm old. I can't keep up with all this texting things. I'm not. I'm still like I text like this, right? So it's all good. Um. Anyway, uh, thank you guys for joining this, and I just wanted to bring this conversation forward out there in a permanent video as well as a live kind of situation to let people know that I came across um, your organization, and I came across. that just by happenstance. I was doing some research because I decided that on my channel I didn't want to. I have a day job that I love, and whole YouTube thing, even though my channel is starting to grow a little bit, is still very insignificant compared to others in the niche. But um, rather than get sucked into like the whole like YouTuber thing, I wanted to use this platform to give back. And
Mhm.
giving back to veterans has always been something that has been very near and dear to my heart, and that's something that I always want to do and will continue to do for the rest of my life. But I came across your organization; it was different. It wasn't the big organizations that are out there, but it's not to say that it's not an organization that has. I really don't even know how to explain it. It hit me hard in a way, even though it's small, it makes a gigantic impact. Let me put it that way. So, and I love that, and that's what I want to support. I want to support people that are uh, forming up groups with actionable, measurable things that it is
Mhm.
providing for our veterans, not just some kind of namesake or whatever else.
Sure, sure.
Um, so while I'm butchering this, I would like for you to introduce your organization,
Sure.
what you guys do, how you do it, and why you do it.
Absolutely. So number one, I appreciate you letting us come on and talk through things. It's always good to reconnect with the community that's getting back outside and going and doing things. And so the organization itself has been around in several formats and over 6, 7, 8 years. But really from a mind over land perspective, the why gets back into a very simple thing of um, when we got out, we lost our tribe, and we needed a place to kind of come back together and go do that. So that's part of it. The other part, um, we're old and broken. I'm never gonna carry anything on my back again. I'm never gonna be hungry again. Um, I'm never
Yeah,
gonna be cold. But so, vehicle-based adventure kind of lends to all that. And so that's kind of part of that. Um, the the whole mission kind of summed up is disconnecting to reconnect.
yeah,
And so that's kind of it's a lot easier to go disconnect when you're in a vehicle because we can just go get off on the backwoods and go escape and get away and get to those cool guy campgrounds that we focus on really, oh, it's going to sound cliche, but the journey. So like during the day, it's awesome. We're talking trash on the radio, we're checking out stuff, it's almost like being back in the tea room again. And then, 4 or 5 o'clock, we're kind of done with sitting. We have to get out and pee
yeah,
because we
yeah.
met our thing. And we go set up camp and get around the campfire and just to kind of keep talking through stuff and things or whatever's on our mind. um there's also an element of accountability in this because the well, hey man, this hurts. Well, have you stretched or have you gone to the doc or have you done so a place to where that if you can go and actually have real conversations and which is pretty hard
Mhm.
sometimes in different circles that you run in. But also, having somebody who cares enough to say, "Hey, kind of get your crap together, guy."
Yeah,
Kind of pick up the pace. The thing about that I have a distaste for is guys that kind of sit in their own diapers and wallow around. Well,
yeah,
that's not our organization. That's not what we're here to do. There's compassion, but it's not very compassionate to just you know, woe is me. And I think really the veterans organizations that the government provides do a great job with what they do. But really, if there's not a holistic approach to from a wellness aspect, from a connecting with people who have had a common experience like you have,
mhm.
because I've got some great friends at work, but they'll never understand the stuff
Sure.
that we've gone through. And so having that space where you can reconnect with those kind of folks, and you know, we'll sit around a campfire. There'll be three grunts, and we're like, "Yep, good talk."
Yeah.
Because that's really, it's about getting back together and getting back outside and supporting each other in the community.
So I find that like whenever like obviously social media exacerbates this more than anything else, is people can hide behind whatever they choose to hide behind. And when you have people that have that common experience, especially in the military, whatever branch you've served,
Right,
um,
right.
you have a common thread. So therefore, you kind of feel like you have this common responsibility, as it were,
Mhm.
to keep each other accountable. And that's something that isn't really found in the normal workday life, right? You can't go to just a regular coworker and try to keep them accountable because they're like, that's not your job. It's not your role in this
Right.
scenario. Um, but at the same time, uh, when you have lifelong friends have that bond to where they can mess with each other, joke with each other, and yeah, but at the same time be forceful with each other and say like you are going to be accountable, like quit whining, quit complaining, lace up the boots, let's go, let's
Let's
get
go.
this done.
Let's
And
go.
I mean, that's just something that personally I haven't served. I was in zero branches of the military. Right, everybody in my family, my myself and my dad were not, everybody else was. And
Mhm.
that was something that I regretted, because when I was 12 years old, actually 10 years old, I went to my first air show and I wanted to be a Blue Angels pilot. That was my life ambition at that point as a
Sure, sure.
young kid. And my grandmother, God rest her, was like, absolutely not. I veto this. You are not allowed to do this. Like, she would not let me go to a recruiter's office. She would not let me do any of this because so many of our family in the past has gone to war, has been a part of that, has lost
Mhm.
their lives, have lost their mental capacity to really just grip with a lot of reality sometimes. And so that's when I was introduced to what you guys do, and the simple fact of when somebody comes back into society that they have really been out of for at least 4 years, things
Mhm.
change in 4 years, in 8 years,
Yeah.
in 16 years, and it's not the same. It is absolutely not the same, especially if you do like a tour overseas.
Mhm.
It's you have been introduced to a new culture, and then you come back and you're introduced to another culture. um, and it's just crazy to me. So I would like for you to summarize exactly what you guys do, because some of the people that are going to be watching this like 5 years from now are going to have no
Sure.
idea.
Sure, sure. So, the and in our current stage, because like we want to grow, we want to do more, but what we're currently doing now is, from an outreach perspective, there's 6 trips a year,
Hmm.
that we do all over the southeast. So if there's a state with an at, so gat, cat, scat, fat,
Hmm.
tat, all the things. Um, we go try to do those because we're centrally located in North Carolina,
Right.
and so we also try to bracket around a 4-day weekend. So you drive to the start point on a Thursday, drive all day Friday, all day Saturday, and RTB on Sunday.
Hmm.
And so we pay for all the gas once you're on the trip, and all the fuel. I'm sorry, all the gas and all the food, because we want to remove that barrier to entry.
Hmm.
If somebody doesn't have something, there's always an easy open seat. So somebody can come ride with us. In fact, we encourage people before. In fact, I had a guy, friend of mine today. He's like, "Hey, man, that's really great. I want to come on a trip, but my truck's not ready." But I don't just come
Yeah,
along
don't
on a
worry.
trip.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'll share everything but my drawers. Like whatever you need, mine is yours, but you ain't sharing my drawers.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
I
there's
only got
some
one
some
pair of those for 5 days.
Oh, right, exactly, and after flipping inside and out, like, "Hey,
Yep,
no,
that's
not
right.
doing it, not doing it," and I'm not a commando, I'm just a combo
Mm.
guy, and so the, yeah, we want people to come out to understand kinda what the magic of it is in terms of that disconnect to reconnect, and then they don't spend money like some guy did to go figure stuff out
Yeah.
along the way. And so, but yeah, it's 2 solid days. Um, 30 days out, we'll have a warning order, and week out, we'll have an operations order. And so, while it's there's the freedom that stuff can change, it's a fairly succinctly ran thing.
Yeah.
We'll have a comms card. If you've done something interesting on a trip, your position in the convoy will have your name listed. So there may be a guy whose name is Ditch.
Yeah.
There may be a Sparky. There may be a guy named Ratchet Strap. And so every name, every trail name has a. You don't get to pick your own either, by no
Oh,
means.
well, of course
Um,
not. No.
Absolutely not. And so but yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. So that's the 6 trips throughout the year. And then currently, we're doing Expo East. That's another way that we go do
Yeah.
outreach. We're doing out at Moore. Georgia Bushcraft has a spring camp out. That would be really if you're yeah. That's in April. That'd be awesome if you're down in that area.
Yeah,
Um,
the Southern Four Wheel Drive thing is the April 12th through the 14th. So if it doesn't interfere, I'll be there. You just let me know.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And so so that's kind of the other big events that we try to do. We're actually this weekend we're hosting our first rigs and brews at a
Mhm.
local brewery that just opened up called Static Line
Nice.
Brewery. And so that's part of the outreach that we're trying to do. And then obviously our big kind of capstone or corner event is Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Currently, we're doing that out in Nebo, North Carolina, out at
Hmm.
Linville Pastures, and it's a big event, tons of raffles. And the other part we're trying to kind of find our way is through um, getting more family events.
Yeah.
And so it's a different experience for veterans if it's just a bunch of grizzled folks going out on a trip,
Hmm.
vice um, having the 10-year-olds and then the younger ones and then the older ones, and you have to logistically that's a different ride.
Yeah.
And so, but that's still a we feel it's still a need that those veterans can go out and go do things as a family because you've been gone so much.
Yeah.
Let's provide that type of forum. So that's why the Veterans Day event is open for everybody,
Right.
because
And,
the format is more of a base camp than it is doing the other stuff.
yeah, and I think that's really important for a lot of people to understand that might be watching us again, like not just now, but later on, is you've been gone from society, so that from the normal civilian society, and you come back, and it's a whole different thing. Um, Despite your position, despite the branch, you might be on the front lines. You might have actually seen combat. Maybe you have not. All of those things differ, right? But when you come back, the one constant thing is that you've been away from a family or friends,
Mhm.
right? Your family and friends. And so coming back and kind of rebuilding those relationships on because you've really only had limited time and access to communications. You can't tell them where you've been or how you've been there most times. So it's common, regardless. It's common. If I were to just like go away for 6 months, I'd come back to my friends that are 6 months forward along in their lives as well,
Right,
right?
right,
So
right.
having the events that do both things still, I think, is paramount. It still like points back to the idea of reconnect, right?
Mhm.
So you're reconnecting with your family, you're reconnecting with your friends, you're reconnecting with your brothers in arms, as it were. So the tell me about a typical event. You said you guys are doing like 6 trips a year,
Yep.
the ats and stuff like that. So if I'm a veteran and I come back, uh, I want to reconnect. I need to reconnect. I find out about you guys.
Mhm.
What could I expect on a particular trip?
Sure. So one of the nice things is not every trip is the same. So
Mhm.
we like to mix it up. The standard format is just for convoy management. Anything more than about 15 trucks gets a little crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, anything more than that on a trail really starts to erode because we're big supporters of Tread Lightly.
Sure.
And so what to expect? We wanted, and I hate to kind of use these, but we wanted a product, if you will, that was
Hmm.
repeatable.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why we do the planning that we do because we pre-ran most of these trails.
Hmm.
And so, we'll kick off at around. So generally speaking, we'll get to the campsite. I'll go ahead and take the day off and drive to wherever that is. It's generally about 4 hours away. Um, Hang out in the afternoon, so there'll be a very welcoming. You'll have like a welcoming committee, if you will, that kind
Sure.
of for the Thursday to get everybody in. We'll make sure that kind of a once over on the rigs. You guys got this, you guys got this. We'll have talked a ton about it during the prep, but like
Right.
because I've been doing this for a little while now, but I'll still forget something. And hey, do we got this? We got this. So everybody gets squared away that night. We're around the campfire on that Thursday night, just kind of checking in and getting to know each other. And then the next day, we are. I'm the if I ever say follow me, you're done. Like you're gonna get lost. I'm the cook. And so I make sure that we've got a large pot of coffee, um, and in a thermos for later stuff. Some guys eat breakfast, some guys not. We found out that why go cook something that nobody's really going to eat. So, we'll
Yeah.
do the coffee thing. And about 8:30 is when we'll do the day's brief. So we'll go over all the Tread Lightly stuff. We'll go over, all the TTPs about how we're going to travel, the radio comms, all the kind of things. Make sure everybody's got the order right. While I'm doing this, the trip lead, Jonathan, he'll be double checking the maps and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And about 8:30, we're stepping off, and we're all getting in the line. And then, that's kind of when depending on what's going on, or whatever, either the radio will get really quiet because everybody's just kind of checking things out,
Hmm.
or somebody will make an interesting joke and then we'll just dogpile on everybody else. We're talking trash for a while. We pray for vehicle failures just so we know the little tribes, can kind of chew on each other, but we'll all
Yeah.
jump in because we all have tools to get everybody fixed. And that's
Right.
one of the things that we're not a Jeep group or a Toyota group
No,
or
you're
a
experience
whatever
based group.
experience base. And so, because what's funny is the Toyotas and the Jeep guys will gang up against the Gladiator people, which is always fun.
Well,
And then you'll have a rando Ford show up in there, which is always fun. And so, but that's just all kind of part of just folks getting back together. The best
yeah.
part is in a lot of these things, especially over 24, we have at least one husband wife group pairing that's coming on. And
Hmm.
so I don't want this at all. We collectively don't want this just to be a good old boys club that
Oh,
goes
for
and
sure.
does. It's veterans to come out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
all and active duty. So all flavors. The only group we haven't had yet was Space Force. And so, all the jokes fly with like, "Hey, we're a full service organization, so Marines just tell us what temperature you want your crayons at for lunch. We'll have them heated for you." Or we
Look,
go tell,
I got no dog in that fight, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
got no dog in that dog fight, as it
or
were.
or
Like,
or we'll go make sure we're about to tell the Coast Guard guys like, "Hey, put on your floaties. We're coming up to like some puddles,"
they got
or
the drugs though, man. Coast Guard's
yeah,
got the drugs.
they do have the trucks. They do, and they're pretty sky. Yeah, yeah, they're an interesting crew. But like that's just part of the experience of getting those cats together. And so as we're driving around, hey, if we need to stop take some pictures, we'll stop take pictures. Or
Yeah.
if we're just kind of poking around around lunchtime, we'll pick a good place to. Purple is my favorite color. That's my devil
Travis, man,
dog.
you gotta
Yeah,
stop. You got.
that's my
I
devil
mean,
dog
don't
right
stop. I
there.
mean, it's cool. It's fine, and that's fine because purple is the color of royalty, by the way. so it's all good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, like Royal Flush or what is that stuff that like unclogs toilets? It's some type of Royal Purple. I don't know what that is.
I
Um,
have no idea.
but but yeah, we'll find a good place to do lunch. Generally speaking, it's sandwiches or something like that, just because it's quick and easy, and we hang out for a little bit, and then we'll get back on the road. And we're driving around, exploring, checking new things out. Around 4 o'clock, we'll start looking for camp and get everybody kind of set up for how they are. And so we get camp set up. I'll start doing supper, or one of the things that we do as well, just because it's easy, is we'll go hit like a pizza place or a Mexican restaurant or something like that.
Yeah.
Break bread together,
Hmm.
or we'll do something in the campground, get the fire going, or the fire pit, depending on where we're at. There may be some brown water that may flow, some adult beverages or whatever else, and we got our camp chairs around. And there's absolutely no telling where conversations can go, just because it's whatever's on your mind.
Yeah.
And we'll sit around and shoot the breeze and kind of hang out. And then so that's a full Friday. And then Saturday, it's a little bit of rinse and repeat. We get further down the road. We try to do about 130 miles, 150 miles a day, depending on how much pavement, how much other.
Yeah.
We try to make sure that we fuel up the night prior. That way, we're not dealing with all the crazy stuff in the morning. We're just kind of getting up, packing, and going. And so that'll be Friday. That's always Saturday, and then Sunday. Repeat a little bit for about half a day, or 10 o'clock. Kind of whatever's comfortable. Um, Break out some lunch, have a good group picture, and kind of depart and go back.
So you guys have been doing that. So you said it earlier, like 8, 9 years. This kind of has been like an idea, and it's been developing ever since. So, how many trips have you guys done thus far?
Well, let me also be very specific. So, in this current iteration of our organization as it has evolved,
Sure.
so we just went over a year, and
Okay.
so we owe where we are to the folks that ran the organization prior to us.
Okay.
And so, and what we wanted to do, back to a repeatable product, was there was a lot of things that were getting done, and they were good things. There was like they had a dog program for a while. They
Hmm.
had like sending care packages over and stuff like that. But we knew that if we had a focused, repeatable, predictable thing, that
Hmm.
we could have a far greater impact because we were focusing our efforts.
Sure.
And so that's kind of what we just kind of retooled, rebranded, renamed. And so, and then part of that, mind over land is a play on mind over matter.
Hmm.
As part of the organization, if you look at kind of the way the patch is, that looks a lot like Air Force stripes. Is kind of the
Hmm.
background for this. Um, Also, if you're in a Navy Blues uniform or those other 6 foot deep river rafter, Department of Transportation, they're so confused. Um, but the chief symbols, are the same. And then your old Army Cav soldiers, the stripes are
Yeah.
like this. So that's kind of how we wanted to join, all of that together. And when you go on a trip, you get a chevron, you get a stripe over
Oh,
top
that's cool.
with the kind of
Yeah.
that. So that's kind of how we build through. And so we're looking at it's a tremendous amount of impact. I think we're making more impact, as we kind of that are more focused on our social media outreach, or doing stuff like with you guys and other creators. I mean,
Hmm.
doing stuff, with Fully Mission Capable. We've had a bunch of stuff with those guys. And so
Yeah.
the more you plug in and the more you share, the more it's like the snowball kind of going down the hill. And so, once we've gone through our second expo. This is our first, this last year, the first year that we did it, it was about 40 people. And then now that we've moved out to Linville Pastures, last year we had over almost 270 folks.
Yeah,
that showed
which
up.
was awesome, by the way. Like, I mean, you guys raised or were able to raise a lot of money to send quite a few veterans on these trips, and
Absolutely.
that alone is amazing. And so, just so people understand, like the financial impact of what you guys are doing, you are a 501c3 company or organization, to where you're all the funds are going straight to this, straight to buying the food, supplying
Yep.
fuel, supplying seats and rigs, and all this other kind of stuff, not to mention all the time and everything else that it takes to put all these things together. So, what is it like the average cost that you guys would set aside, uh,
Sure.
like per
So
veteran or per person?
per person, I think we've gotten it down to about 150 a person. It's
Oh,
kind of
okay,
the
that's super reasonable. Yeah,
right, but we only charge $50 a trip for the reservation.
yeah,
So
okay,
we don't try to recover from the vets that at all. We work on the donation side to cover. And mainly and especially this year, um, we had a $50 reservation fee because $50 is enough to make somebody like, maybe I need to tell them I'm not
sure,
going.
yeah,
Because we have waiting lists now. So over for we've went from the for 23 where we were about 70%, 60 to 70% full. We
hmm,
have waiting lists for multiple trips. We're about at 98% full for 2024.
that's
And because
awesome.
we yeah, it is. And then we've already published the dates for 2025. There's already signups for 2025. And so we have to do something to where, like, if a guy just signs up for everything, but he doesn't pay or doesn't show up, that's
Yeah, yeah, you got to
eh,
reserve.
you got to
You have to
reserve
reserve that.
something to kind of to get that to go down. And so, but yeah, we're about 150 a person on a trip is what we can do for the whole trip,
Yeah,
for each person. And so and to your point, we all have full time jobs,
yeah.
and so it all just kind of goes back into that back. So we we keep our overhead as low as we can to maximize pumping it back into the veterans.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm gonna let you know that that makes me feel a lot better because maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but like I said this a little bit earlier, and that is I had probably last year, like I had the worst time with this whole YouTube thing, like putting stuff out. Like I felt like I was doing it every week just to do it, just to grow the channel or whatever else, and I didn't. I kind of lost my purpose behind doing what I do on this. Now that didn't mean that I didn't go wheeling, that I didn't go out and have fun and all this other kind of stuff. I was just like, well, why am I going to spend, realistically 10 to 15 hours a week, like going out on this thing that I was going to do anyway, but then really inconveniencing some of the people that I was with by stopping and picking up cameras and moving things around and all this
Right,
other
right,
kind of
right, right.
stuff and forcing something out to do something. So I'm spending 10 to 15 hours a week doing something that I felt like I put in all this effort and then there was really not a whole lot of return from it. Because I was getting like, maybe 50 views, 100 views, 1,000 views, whatever. Um, but I had a mindset change a while back ago. So I'm going to go do these things anyway, and if I can define it with a purpose, then
Hmm.
it's gonna make me feel a hell of a lot better about
Yeah.
doing what I do. Um, and so the goal that I have set forth was any revenue. Now the channel is fully monetized, thankfully, with ad revenue. Is right now we're earning about $1 a day. And
Hmm.
it makes me feel a hell of a lot better knowing that come September 11th, when I plan on donating all of that revenue to you, that means at least two veterans are going to be going
Hmm.
on this trip, right?
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
makes me feel really good, and it redefines the purpose of the channel and my ambitions, and it just eases the stress of, trying to pump content out whenever.
Hmm.
So knowing that it costs about that much to send someone on on a trip that could potentially change their lives, reconnect them into society, gain new lifelong friends outside of their
Hmm.
unit, their brigade, or whatever, uh, is a huge. compliment to what you guys are doing, but at the same time, anybody who is watching this like 2 years from now or whatever
Hmm.
else, uh, make sure to donate to mindoverland.org. Like, go check it out what they do, why they do it, and all this other kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm honored to help out in any way that I can. So if you're watching this channel right now, like post 8, uh, just fucking donate, man. Like,
Well,
that's all I gotta say. Like, I'm very relaxed about it, but I'm like, nothing makes more of an impact than money. It sucks, but that's the truth. From the outside community, nothing makes a bigger difference to organizations, to nonprofit organizations than money, because that means that that organization can facilitate those funds to make the biggest impact in the way that they know
mhm.
how. And I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but I think it's fact, at least
Yeah,
mostly.
and we all, because we're cheesy folks as well. You know, we've got some T-shirts, we've got patches with some interesting, like our favorite is I'm the reason for the safety brief. Um, is kind of the a thing on there. There's some bourbon powered stuff. There's a take on Chef Boyard.
Where are we?
Yeah. And so that's on there. So it's funny, that shirt will bring people in. Nobody buys it, but they laugh and they'll buy a different shirt. It's funny.
I mean, it makes sense here too. And I'm kind of going back to the comments here for a second, because I don't know if I don't know who Cookie is, but Cookie said that they have a question. So if you have a question, make sure to type that back. And then Craig is reminder about my floaties. So Are you a coastie, Craig? Just
Yeah.
let us know right here.
Oh yeah.
And then Seth, apparently your trail name is Grounds.
That is what Craig is trying to say my trail name is.
Well, you can't
But
give it to yourself.
no, I know. And so that he doesn't appreciate what good quality coffee is.
Oh,
And so
do you have?
there's
Let me just stop you for a second. Do you
yeah,
have a
yeah.
fixed gear bicycle and a mustache?
No.
Okay,
No.
I didn't know what
I
kind of coffee quality you were talking about.
I'm talking about an Amazon percolator that I go get rando grounds from wherever
Okay,
to to go do. And so no, there is no Ascot pinky up wearing type of stuff. It's just coffee one each to get you going in the morning.
man. Well, you'll need it. I mean, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a coffee drinker, and I felt like kind of weird about it for a minute there, but then I kind of redefined that of I don't care if I don't like it, I don't like it. Um, but I had another one of these previously
Mhm.
with Pour Off Road Coffee, Heather, and she was just like, "Yeah, you should try. You should try this and that." And I'm like, "I don't care how bad it is for me. Monster is awesome." So like I'm sticking with that carbonated morning bullshit. Uh, I don't have to prep anything. It's already cold. It's in the cooler, and
Well,
I'm jacked up, ready to go at like 20 minutes into the morning, and you guys are still getting your burners right.
oh yeah, I know. It's I think interestingly enough, so whether it's coffee or Monster or juice or something stronger in the morning, it's really about how you all have something, you're consuming something together. And so it just for me, it's just coffee in the morning. It's kind of the
Everybody's got to do
idea.
something and not talk. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
that's
Just
what it
don't talk,
is.
don't make it awkward. Don't look me in the eyes. Don't make it awkward.
Nah,
Let's
no.
just sit around and sip, and then we'll grunt, and then everybody knows. Then we're good.
I'm that asshole that's like wheels up, 9 o'clock. Let's go. You know. So I guess in your world it's 0900. Let's go.
Let's
Uh,
go. Let's
but
go.
I'm all for adventure. I'm all for supporting the things that you guys are doing, especially when it has so many facets. So I know that more Expo is coming up soon.
Yep.
Veterans Day obviously wasn't that long ago. Um, so what's besides more? the expo. And where is that again? Is that in
That's
Missouri?
actually in Missouri. Yep,
Yeah.
is where that is, and I'm looking up real quick for spring camp out, and I've got the dang flyers. Spring camp out Georgia Bushcraft. I'll be down there for that, so we're gonna split forces,
Hmm.
and half the folks are gonna go to Moore, and then the other half we're gonna go down to for spring camp out in Watkinsville, Georgia, is where that's gonna be.
Okay.
And I cannot find the stinking date um, of when
You
that
said in
is.
April, so
Yeah,
we
it's
know
definitely in
that.
April. The
You guys check the website.
Yeah, yeah, go to Georgia Bushcraft and check the website. That's I'll be there for that. Oh yeah, so it's April, the weekend of April 19th.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I'll be around that weekend, so that works. That works out for me from what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Um, I'll be up in Kentucky or Tennessee for the thing on the 12th or the 14th, and then yeah, I don't see any conflicts there. Um, Obviously, my computer is in sleep mode, so I don't
Yeah,
have my calendar open.
yeah.
But I will definitely be around in I don't know what besides more in that. What's the next like trip you guys have planned?
So
It's
from
already all booked up. So
Yeah, so from a trip perspective, we're gonna go do the TAT, the in about a month. So,
oh,
we'll
nice.
be headed out to West Virginia. There'll be about 15. We've got 15 folks lined up on the trip with 15 different rigs.
Right.
Um, and so really looking forward to getting back out west. Well, out west for us is, Asheville,
Yeah,
because
where
we're
I live.
we're yeah. And so
You
so
city
yeah,
folk.
all
Oh, you
us.
city folk over there in Raleigh. Yeah.
So let's be clear, we're South Raleigh, way, way South Raleigh. And so there, I can throw a rock and still hit a corn or tobacco field. So it's
Okay.
not it's not too bad. It's not too
So I
bad.
mean, you're still in the lowlands, as it were.
Yes,
But
yeah, yeah.
having said all that, I travel to Raleigh a lot, and I mean, you're not quite Wilmington, So it's like,
No, no, no,
you
no,
know,
no, no.
uh,
We're about
but
45 minutes south of Raleigh.
okay, yeah. So that's not bad at all. Doing what you guys do and being able to explore north, south, east, and west, I think that's really awesome. And then when you say the TAT, like, are you talking about you were going to do like just the North Carolina section of the TAT, or are you gonna do
We're gonna
the
do
whole thing?
Oh, no, no, no. Eventually,
Okay.
in our previous organization, we were able to go out to Colorado, which was awesome.
Hmm.
But when you look at those longer back to impact, so we had 10 veterans that had the time of our lives for
Right.
2 weeks. Like it was phenomenal to go do. But in that same amount of money and that same amount of time and resources, instead of 10, we probably could have reached out to 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
So while we'd love to be able to go do a big, big trip like that, the current format allows us to get to the most folks. So when we say the TAT, we're going to do about 2.5 days of it
Okay.
um, in the West Virginia area
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
going to be the general spot. Again, I'm the cook, so we let the guys leading go do unless we want some real adventure of so let's if we got some time, we can talk about some interesting adventure on some of these trips.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
here.
So
So yeah.
so no joke, there we were, following our lovely Gaia, and this is one of the things you have to be careful about. Sometimes the mapping is a little old, and you'll have hunt clubs that will shut down county
Oh,
roads,
oh yeah.
or you'll go driving down what looks to be a road, and then you'll hear a "Hey, what are you doing on my property?" What do you
Yeah.
mean? We're on the or the scary question was, "How many of there are y'all?" Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's like 8 or 9 on this trip. Well, damn, my gun's only got 5 bullets.
Yeah.
And so you just got to be super, super careful in planning some of these things because not everybody is so happy to see a bunch of people in trucks bouncing across what they consider their land,
Yeah.
even though you just passed a road sign.
I mean,
Um,
I mean, that actually brings up a really good point when it comes to the navigation software that's out there and what's available and everything else. So you got everything from just knowing county roads from what you grew up on, uh, all the way to the most sophisticated platforms out there. So there's OnX, there's Gaia, there's all kinds of
mhm.
things. There's different layers, different maps. Uh, so many things are public information now based on plot lines and things like
Yep,
that.
yep.
People most of the time don't really give a shit about that. I mean, I'll be honest, like on both sides of that equation, especially the people who believe that that is their land. And so it is really important that you are prepared not only to evacuate a situation, but
Yeah.
also to like have the mindset to dissuade that situation if
Mhm.
it goes up. Because I have had really good buddies of mine going to a public park that they were just doing some stuff in the park, like wheeling and normal and stuff like that, and people are shooting right over their heads uh, because they were making too much noise and they were 500 yards away from the property. So the I know my rights kind of people. I really don't want to like pigeonhole anybody because people have different perspectives. But I will say a lot of times people resort to violence at the earliest opportunity. And when you're leading a group or you're part of a group activity, being prepared for those kind of situations is of absolute paramount necessity. To understand what that's like. I've had buddies of mine going camping and strange people. Hell, even me. Like we were out at Uwari and we had people just wander up into our campsite at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey man, you got any water? You know,
Right,
but
right.
you know, so you have to be prepared for those situations. Um, but yes, I understand to the point of you guys doing going through these stories and going out with these guys. Chances are those people had no idea the people that were sitting around in that group. So
No, not at all. And so, and the way around it is, just don't be a dick. And
yeah,
you go like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We're a bunch of veterans, and apologize." And and definitely not on the defensive is not the right part, not the right word, but in terms of, "Hey, this is what we're here to go do."
yeah,
And so, but back to we generally have a couple different folks running the map software. Um, for the trails that we've done is generally published trails. Um, More times than not, we'll pre-run a trail a month prior, to just to go make sure because we have to
sure,
go. There's only so much you can do in a map recon unless you're
yeah,
actually out looking to see. So if we go 150 miles in a day, that's these campsites that are close. Or if it's really really slow and it's really really bad, and we break down, we only get 80 miles in a day. That's but
sure,
150 miles by 80 miles. That's really some different geography just to go make sure that we do on our planning. And
yeah,
so we try to take pride in how much we plan, but also how much we leave space for adventure.
sure,
Um, but at the end of the day, we still need to get to a place to camp and then get to another
yeah,
place. But in the middle, we're always stopping, always taking pictures.
yeah,
So it's not a mush type thing.
yeah.
We
My
try to have we try to have a balance on like, hey, slap a rubber band on it, man. We're gonna be there in 10 minutes. We're almost there, and and actually making some mileage, and so it's pretty good.
Yeah, my wife and I are actually going to be doing. We're going to go to Scotland in September for about a week and a half, and the stress of that is like kind of looming, even though it's months away, because we've neither of us have been there and like driven and kind of camped or whatever else we're trying to do. So I'm trying to learn the regulations and everything else of where I'm allowed to stay and where I'm not allowed to stay. But yes, to your point, there is only so much you can do with map recon, right? And pre-planning and stuff like that. So when I had the conversation with my wife, she's like, "Hey, we need to start booking accommodations like now because they could fill up or whatever." And I'm at the point now to where I'm like, well, I'm going to go to whatever store is available that's Walmart similar and get a tent,
Yeah.
like, just in case, and you're gonna be okay with that.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah, yeah,
how it's
yeah.
going to be. Uh, but I also want to have like structured relaxation. We have a point A and a point
Right.
B, and we have plenty
Right,
of
right.
cushion and time to get there and let the experience really navigate what we actually do
Mhm.
in those times. And so when it comes to a multi-day trip, it's good to be prepared uh, loosely to have some sort of an outline, but not
Right.
like be so structured from 10 to 10:15. We're going to do breakfast at 10:16 to 10:28. We're going to be doing this,
Right.
and there
Right,
are
right,
those
right.
people. And my work personality is very much like that. I am very
Yeah.
structured when it comes to work because I have to be.
Mhm.
Um, but when it comes to not like 5 o'clock, 5:01, it's open. It's open. It's
That's
open to
right.
do cool shit like this and talk to guys like
Absolutely
you
right.
and do this
Absolutely
kind
right.
of stuff. So like I'm excited about this, but I do want to give some opportunity to the people here in the chat. So if you guys have any questions, you can continue to razz. But Travis is talking about a time where he was in West Virginia and a de-escalated situation and things like that. I do think that it's important for people to be prepared, uh, but there's so much nuance that can occur on a trip, and that is one of the exciting things about adventure. Otherwise we would just go travel across the country, sleep in hotels all the time, and
No.
like most people. I have a four-wheel drive vehicle for a purpose. I want to get to places and go and do things that most people don't do, and share this story, share the experience, but most of all, experience it with people that I love and I wanna hang out with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
whole thing behind it. So we got some new comments here. Tell Seth have an open seat. Oh yeah. So Travis has got an open seat for the ride in May in Kentucky.
yeah, I'm not stepping in that Trailhawk. I can't do it.
He doesn't have a Trailhawk anymore.
Yeah, he does.
No.
He sold the no, he sold the Gladiator.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot. Like, I mean, you should know this. You got a Toyota thing in common. So what seat do you have open? Are you taking the Trailhawk? Come on, Travis, let's go. I mean, you've been there the whole time. I know you got Greg. Yeah, you got a foreigner. Yeah, and the cup holders are really cool and really in the right spot and all that kind of stuff. Look, yeah. So the Gladiator. Yeah, okay. So got the Trailhawk, got that foreigner, got an open seat in one of the two. I don't know which one it is. So there you go. Yeah, hopefully he's gonna be building it out.
Those
Look,
colors.
I'm gonna let you guys just enjoy this chat via text message from now on, and that's totally fine. If you guys are watching this, viewers watching this later on, make sure to have the chat replay like active, so, so that you can just watch these guys, because this is fun times. Um,
We'll make sure we put Travis in the stack where he'll be appropriately supervised.
in the middle.
I don't know. We're probably gonna get gas and then forget to tell him we left or something like that.
I hate my friends. I hate my friends. All right. Well, guys, I mean, I will say this first and foremost. I want to thank you so much for being a part of this, Seth, and coming on and doing this. Um, I hope that I can do my little part in helping you guys in the future. And if it comes to pre-running trails and doing stuff like that, you guys need an extra hand or an extra radio or whatever else, you guys let me know. I will be more than happy to help out, especially if I'm available
Yeah, yeah.
and around. When it comes to the bigger trips or classes or anything like that, regionally, you guys let me know. I'll 100% be on board with helping you guys move forward. And
Mhm.
for now, um, I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope that I can raise a lot more money for you guys coming up in September 11th. We'll just see how this channel thing
Yeah, yeah.
goes, and we'll go from there. So, you go ahead and give any kind of accolades and promotions and things like that for what you guys have going on.
Sure, sure. So, if you could come check us out on www.mindoverland.org. is a website. We're all on the socials with the gram and Facebook as well. And
People in
there's
plaid
merch.
can't say the gram. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
People in plaid can't say the gram.
I'm saying the gram. I'm owning it, son. I'm owning it.
All right. All right.
Um, and so the and I think the main plug is, even if for veterans, even if it's not this, go find something.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's, an underwater basket weaving club, or find some place to go connect. Um, find some place to get outside of your head and your normal stuff,
Mhm.
to go do, because it's just helpful. It's just helpful for stuff. And yeah, that's kind of the jam, man.
All right, man. Well, again, Seth, thank you so much for being a part of this. And again, if you guys are watching this now or later, make sure to check out mindoverland.org. All the stuff that they do is fantastic. I'm going to be supporting them. I hope that you guys will too. And then, selfish plug here. I'm going to be donating and raising money for their organization. So if you are not subscribed to the Adventurous YouTube channel, make sure to do that. Get the watch time up. Just watch and share and do all the fun things that I really hate asking people to do. I want this to be something that you guys learn from. Maybe I serve some sort of entertainment value in your life, or whatever else, educational value with some of the how tos and just adventure films for inspiration. So if you're not subscribed, do that. If you want to, check it out. You're invited to do that. Leave comments, share all the kind of shit that, again, I don't like saying it, so I'm not very structured with it. But it's been fantastic talking with you tonight, Seth, and I really hope the best in the future for the organization. Uh, and until then, I will see you on the trail, man.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for your support.
All right, guys. Thanks for being in the chat. I'll see you guys later.
We'll see you.
Bye.